Guys, since I don't have any sponsors, I thought I would use this opportunity to bring awareness to a cause that's close to my heart, mental health. Do you battle depression or suffer from mental health? Are you looking for help or to help? Then let me share with you 2 great websites full of resources and information for whatever your needs are, for yourself or for someone you care about. CallTimeMentalHealth.com is created by BC's motion picture industry unions, and healthlinkbc.ca/mental health, part of our BC medical system. No matter who you are or how you're feeling, you're not alone, and there is help out there. CallTimeMentalHealth.com and healthlinkbc.ca/mental health. Welcome to the ILO on Location podcast. I'm your host, Irene Loper. That's ILO for short. And my podcast is all about having fun, connecting with your friends, and breaking shit down. Guys, I'm practically halfway to 100, and when I look around at my circle of friends, I see the most incredible women. They make me laugh out loud, they support me through everything, and they inspire me with their amazingness. So, join me, grab a rosé, and let me bring you the gift of the gab to brighten your day.
Oh my goodness, you look stunning. These are not your pajamas, Irene.
No. This is a little, I just like, I'll do a little Daniela, the house. I just thought I'd whip up a little blow dry and some J-Lo. A little red wine.
Hey, miss you. Cheers.
Well, I have you in your yoga studio / dance studio.
Yes, ma'am.
Amazing. And your body and your beautiful face. It's like, it's literally so good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
And
it's
I'm
so good to see you.
glad this worked out. Okay.
Right.
So let me introduce Julia Harnett. Okay. So ladies, and mostly ladies, welcome back to ILO on Location, the podcast. We are almost on location because I'm single vaxxed. Soon I'll be double vaxxed, and then I'll be showing up random places. But because my amazing A-list guest is international in currently Connecticut, we are on a Zoom. So this is exactly how we did it last season. So this is how we're going to start it this season. Guys, I want to welcome my dear friend and amazing, talented, beautiful actress, dancer, singer, choreographer, ballroom professional, and artist, Julia Harnett.
Hello.
Insert audience applause and standing ovation.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. So welcome, Julia. For anybody that's listening, Julia and I met, I can't remember because I have no sense of time, but a few years ago doing the most fabulous musical at the Stanley Theater for the Arts Club Theater Company called, wait for it, In the Heights. Okay.
Yes.
We had the best time ever. And why Julia I'm so excited she's here is because we all know the movie just came out, and guess who's in it? Julia!
Hey.
Okay, I'm sorry, but gosh. But we are talking Lin-Manuel, who was on fucking Oprah. We are talking international blockbuster musical summer sensation movie, In the Heights, from the stage, original, Broadway to the screen. So we have lots to cover today, but that is my fabulous A-list guest, Julia Harnett. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yay!
I'm so excited to be here. Yay.
Of course, who I call Carla, my character. So, yes. Julia, come on. First of all, we're going to cover a lot. The industry, the arts, COVID, yada, yada. But tell me just off the top, being that In the Heights just opened last week, Thursday. Yes. How are you feeling? Are you excited? How was that experience?
Oh my goodness. Well, we shot the film in 2019 and it's crazy because when you see it now and especially when you look at a lot of the children that were cast in the project,
right.
They all look so different now. Like these kids, they were 3 when we shot it and now they've full out gone through puberty.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny when you see them again, you're like, I don't recognize you. But, so much has happened in 2 years, but it was such a cool, fun experience. It was really neat to be in a cast of just so many colorful faces,
Yes.
and just with the music, and the choreographer, Christopher Scott, did such a great job bringing on a team of associates to help him bring out the most truthful performance out of the dancers and the principal cast as well. So what he did was, because Christopher Scott is a hip hop choreographer from the League of Extraordinary Dancers. They were featured on So You Think You Can Dance US, and he's done a lot of amazing projects. He worked on the Step Up projects. He's fabulous. And so he brought on a team of great dancers from LA. And then he also collaborated with a salsa champion. His name is Eddie Torres Jr. And they were the ones that they collaborated together to bring in all of the salsa and merengue and all of the other styles of Latin dance that you see in the film.
And
it was
your alley,
really
right?
cool.
From your ballroom history.
Fun.
Like you did this performing in championships, those kinds of dances along with the fox
totally
and everything.
Yep.
Wow.
So it was really cool. It's kind of a funny story though, because when I was cast in the film, they actually required my services not in the salsa scene. Yeah. So I'm actually not in the club scene. I'm in the opening scene, the In the Heights title track. Yes. And then I'm also in When You're Home with Nina and Benny.
Oh, I just
Yes. And then of course 96,000. So
oh my God.
No me diga. So it was a really cool experience for me. I was very, very challenged because most of the movements that I'm doing, apart from a little bit of ballet here and there, most of the movements that I'm doing are purely hip hop. So it was a great experience for me learning, how to move my body that way. And along with these other amazing dancers, they had dancers in from LA, and then the bulk of the cast was from New York City. So it was just, so cool. So I met a lot of great people. And I got to learn, different styles of hip hop, which I've never really been able to sit down and just like study. Right.
I mean, Lisa Stevens did kick her ass.
She did. Yes,
I'll never forget. Wonderful. She'll be like, put me in the back. But in stiletto, I just had to shimmy. But you were killing it, and Julio and Alexandra. You guys, such amazing dancing. And that was a part of the show, but not all of the show. But to be working for you as a dancer, that's so funny. You're out of your, let's say, comfort zone. But again, what a great experience, because you're like, I can salsa the shit out of this. This is way more exciting. Right. And again, whole new tool to your dance repertoire.
Absolutely.
That's so exciting. So just tell us a little, listeners, because if you live in New York and you take the train to the audition, and you've got your backpack and your water bottle and your equity card, and you get there and everyone's stretching, and it's so intimidating. And God bless you as an artist. It's hard to even go to the audition. But tell us a little bit. Did you get the call and they're like, Julia, come on in and Lynn, or was it a bit like you have to go through a process? Because these movies, we know they're all over the world. Just to get selected to audition is a huge compliment and a talent, a skill to your talent.
Yes, thank you. Well, I was actually working on a show. I was working on Chicago, in Pennsylvania. We were doing the regional premiere of Chicago. And so I actually missed the callbacks. So I had auditioned for In the Heights. They had like their first rounds, I think in the fall of 2018. It was quite early. Right. And then I went to it, and then I didn't hear anything. And then I booked Chicago. So I left, and we were in tech. And then I got a call that they wanted to see me for callbacks, and we were in tech. So I couldn't.
Oh my God. Of course. When it rains, of course, you can have fucking nothing from that. But then all of a you're fucking teching your show. Excuse my language. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Amazing. No stress at all. Okay.
No stress. So they said, and I was freaking out because obviously this was exactly, what I wanted. I wanted to be a part of this project, just after doing the Canadian premiere with everyone.
And in any way, shape or form, but to be up for a role, come on. Wow.
Exactly. So they had their callbacks. I wasn't there. And then I noticed that our choreographer, because he was in New York City, prepping the show, he was actually teaching some classes. So after our show closed, I decided to go and just, do the Julia thing and try and train in as many styles as possible. So I went to this hip hop class, which I was so not right for at all. I did stand in the back, and killing it in the back. Yeah. And then after the class, I just went up to him and said, "Hey, I just wanted to thank you. I wasn't able to attend the callbacks for the show, but I just wanted to thank you for inviting me." And he's like, "Well, you can still be in the show." He's like. So they had finished all their casting and everything, but my agent had told his team that like, she's in a show, she really wanted to be here. And they were like, well, we can't really, so it was obvious. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. I mean, I get goosebumps because, a lot of other people might've been like, oh, okay, I didn't get my chance, but hey, get as far as you can. And even if you didn't do it with the intention of being cast, just to get that experience.
Totally.
And then to also have the confidence and class to go up and say something at the end and thank him for his artistry. Yeah. Obviously, you made an impression. I'm sure he saw you at the back. So, hey, listen, stand out. But and then to have that moment come kind of full circle. Oh, totally.
So I was so grateful, and I called my manager right away, and I was like, I think I'm in the show. Wow. And she freaked out. She's part of the Latinx community as well. So she was freaking out. And then, a week later, they're like, come to rehearsals. So then I was in, and we rehearsed they had already been rehearsing, I think, for a couple of weeks when I joined them. So I had to catch up. Yeah. And then we started shooting in early summer, and then we shot for the scenes that I was in. It was about 2.5 months of shooting those scenes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah.
What happens when we book those kind of gigs? That's
right.
Oh my gosh. So, wow. 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Working out in your peak, your physicality, all those actors. I mean, if anybody's seen teasers for the show, I mean, this is, there's hundreds of people in the production and the value of it. But I mean, that must have just been such an experience. I mean, who's done that before? Like who's been in a movie where to that level of, some people have, but I don't know anybody at that level of craft and money and talent. Wow.
Yeah, it was so I was, I had to just take a sec, when we were in rehearsals, just to observe, because there was over 200 dancers that they were able to cast for this project, which is huge. And just to be with all of these different types of dancers and all walks of life, all ages. Like we literally had children all the way up to,
all
I can't even remember.
Sizes,
seriously.
Diverse in so many ways. And it was like colorful rainbow people in those scenes.
It was one of the greatest experiences of my life, for sure. So I I'm super happy. And the film came out here last week. When does it come out in?
Well, it premiered. I think we're just getting into phase 2 of opening. So if I'm correct, movie theaters are opening, I believe, if not this week, next week. But today is the day that phase 2 took into effect, and I haven't fully read it, but it did premiere in like the world on the same day, on the Thursday, the 11th.
On Thursday, okay.
And then the only reason why I kind of know is because of our podcast today. I got inspired to look into doing a screening, going to the movies with all the cast.
Oh,
right. So I went on the Facebook page. I emailed, Julio and Sharon and Katrina. Sort of said, "Hey, I'm thinking of doing this." And then I called Cineplex Theaters, like Tinseltown. And I talked to a woman, and she's actually going to call me back. And I was just texting with Stephanie, and I just emailed Karen to get the cast. So I thought, well, maybe when we're all double vaxxed, I mean, to everybody, slowly but surely, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to get Bill and everybody to go and see it together? Let's say sometime in July or August. Obviously, I'll tell you in case you're here.
Oh my gosh!
But of course, I don't know if that's going to happen. But so I was like, and my goddaughter, who's a musical theater phenom, like I can't wait to tell her that I want you to say hi to her later. But I was thinking of like even doing like a family screening. Anyways, I'm waiting to see it on the big screen, like not on the TV, because I just that experience and full circle moment. I know I'll cry. I know I'll sing along.
You will.
And then obviously to see you on the big screen, most important, but at the same time, just because the music and the story, and it's also fun. So no. Did you go to a premiere with your husband and son, or was it kind of COVID?
No, we actually, so they had the principal cast screening at the Tribeca Film Festival. So that was on the day before. And then they had a dancers cast and crew screening for us on the day of. So that was in New York City. I didn't go because we're packing up this house right now. So I didn't go to see it with the team, but I did. I mean, they were posting all night the pictures and everyone went dancing afterwards. So it looked like a super blast. Like they had a great time. But no, we haven't seen it in the big theaters yet.
Right.
Tyler was gonna rent out a small theater room, and we were all gonna go. Yeah. Sure, so I've seen it 3 times on the small screen, but it's I mean, some of those shots, like, especially in 96,000, because we shot 96,000 in a pool. So it's all in the water and huge, and like 80 dancers in that scene. And it's unreal. So I'm really excited to see that. Yeah.
And totally. I mean, obviously, I'm going to invite Lynn.
Yes, of course.
I'll tag him on his Insta. Be like, Lynn, come on up to Canada. But I mean, did you have the opportunity to meet him, like just a hello, or was he, on his not available to everybody?
No, he was with us most days on set. So I did get a photo, and I got to meet him. Wow. Yeah, he's such a lovely man, and he's done so much for just the community, the theater community, but also just like people of color in general. Like he's just creating all of these stories. He actually has another film that I think a preview came out last week,
with Garfield, for Tick Tick Boom.
Tick Tick Boom. So he's just, he created another Broadway show, like an improv kind of Broadway show. Like he's just doing all the things right now. So I'm really grateful. And he's also inspiring another generation of writers, which is, we've needed people of color to write, because if they're not writing, then our stories aren't told. Do you know what I mean? 100%. So it's been such a blessing just to be part of something that's so much bigger than this.
Of course. And what is your nationality, like just in regards to everything that happened last year with the movement, Black Lives Matter? And of course, in a perfect way, this did get pushed post-COVID to sort of just bring light to that, all the diversity stuff. Tell me a little bit about that.
So it's funny because I grew up in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada.
Yes.
My family, my father's from Ontario. He comes from a British family.
Right.
And then my mom was born in Louisiana. So
Wow.
yeah. So her roots are all over the place. Mm-hmm. She actually did a 23andMe, the 23andMe test that you can do, because she didn't know. She obviously knew that, the bulk of her lineage is from Africa. It's obviously, but she didn't know because there's certain features in our family that are very prominent, especially with my grandmother. And like, there's like certain traits like in our facial features. And it's funny because growing up, people would always ask me if I spoke Spanish, and I'm learning, but I obviously growing up in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, I wasn't taught to speak Spanish. Right. But then as soon as I moved to the United States, it was almost like a given. You just start learning Spanish. Yeah. So so my mom, her test results came back, and it was very interesting what they found. They found that most of her family is from West Africa, like Ghana area. Yeah. But then she also has roots like in Morocco. She has some German roots. Wow. And then there was a bunch of roots that we had no idea, but she's got this, like, I can't remember the name of it was like a certain title that they gave it, but it encompasses a lot of like Latin America, Central America and South, so there's all of these ties to all of these places that I've always felt connected to, but I couldn't necessarily trace it. So now I can say that I'm a part of, the African community, also a part of the Latinx community. And then I've got my dad's side. So totally. Like, you've got the white side. So it's been very interesting. And also the West Side Story film is coming out in December, which is, I'm not. So I auditioned for the show, and I was in final callbacks for the show, and I got to, thank you. I got to dance for Steven Spielberg. So after that moment, Christ, I'm throwing my mic against the fucking wall.
From Lin-Manuel to Steven Spielberg, people. Oh my God.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. It was after that happened, I was like, you know what? I could probably retire now, and I'd be totally fine.
Oprah, because we're good. Yeah.
And
J-Lo.
Oprah. Yeah, and J-Lo. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. But for that show, they really wanted to try as hard as they could to get a fully Puerto Rican shark cast, which makes so much sense. So I didn't book that show, but I am very grateful, and I cannot wait. I have many friends that are in the show on the Jets and the Sharks. So that film is going to be stunning. And I think, some people were a little bit upset that they were doing a remake of that film. But I think especially with everything that has gone on socially, it is important that they remake that film with accuracy.
Absolutely. Representing correctly. I read an article or one of, Lin-Manuel's, and he was saying what inspired him even to write In the Heights was that he just wasn't seeing people of color or of his nationality in the spotlight storytelling. And, I remember seeing that on Broadway and being so, moved. And of course I loved it. But, for you to celebrate all your diversity and nationalities with all those people that I'm sure he cast purposely so colorfully must have just been magical to be able to be amongst so many people and celebrating each other.
Exactly. It was just, there really were no words. Like I said in rehearsal, like I just had to take a second because we just, and I still consider myself newer to musical theater compared to a lot of my colleagues who are, on Broadway, and a lot of them went to school for musical theater. And so it's, coming in from like TV and film and concert dance, it's been a bit of a transition when you have to, add in your voice. And a lot of these dancers, like I didn't realize, I guess being in Canada, I just didn't realize how strong your voice had to be as a triple threat singer. Cause I'd see, like you see the triple threat, like the Hollywood triple threat is like, they're usually really strong at one of the three, and then they just kind of pass for the other two. Yes. In New York City, you are 100% full out in all of the genres, right? So I didn't realize that. So, 2 weeks after I got here, I got a great vocal coach because I was like, I am not going to work at all.
Right. You just wanted to hone, even though you had the skills and the talent, having worked with you, for Christ's sake.
Thank you.
But still to have the confidence to be able to say authentically, I can do this as well as that. That's part of the training, people that are listening. Like, it's not all just luck and, good looks. It's work.
It is hard work. Hard work and hustle, constant
kind of
hustle.
Like that training to build your own sort of self-esteem, so to speak.
Yes. Oh, totally. Yeah. Because singing is the one thing that I found like you really cannot hide. Like in dance, if you screw up, you can sort of improv, right? In acting, if you forget your lines, you just ad lib, or you make it happen. In singing, if your voice cracks, if you can't hit it, everybody knows, right? And so it's one of those things that you just have to be very consistent about, and it's scary because as a dancer, I was just not used to opening my mouth and holding a note, that was not something that was required of me. So now that I'm understanding that, and just like the way that you breathe and how different it is from dance, it's been a great, lovely, challenge. And
amazing. You and I have a mutual friend in common, but she moved to New York well before you. So to understand the competition and what it takes to be at the top of your game to get the opportunities to audition, like it's but a full circle moment. That's a bit of a mouthful for you. Canadian gal, Stanley Stage, playing the role of Carla, where we had with the amazing Elena Watuko and myself, and having that experience, and then like, oh my God, they're casting the movie, and then being in New York, and just being able to have that is what a great story and a dream come true for you.
Yes.
And you say, you're not Miss Musical Theater, which of course, someone else is also working in a new Apple series, or finished working in a musical theater show called, I think, Schmigadoon, if I'm
yes, ma'am,
correctly. So, tell us a little bit about that, because when I was, of course, I've known you and we met it through the stage, but you had your Christmas Waltz movie that was a big hit that came out at Christmas with you and the Miss Amazing Katrina Reynolds leading, movie of the week. And then, Schmigadoon, this amazing Saturday Night Live, I think, casting some creators coming together for Apple. You have this other show, The Crew, on Netflix. You really are what they say, triple threat, if not more. But, come on, how did that work out? Are you feeling just take every opportunity you can get and see what lands and just have the best time?
Pretty much. And it's funny because before I moved to New York, I was on this trajectory where I thought, I think as I'm getting older, it makes so much sense to just really focus on acting, and I love acting. It's something I found it about 9 years ago. And I got a great coach in Vancouver, and I just fell in love with acting. And, as a dancer, being able to use the physicality that I've trained into my body as an actor, it's really been helpful. But then when I moved to New York, and I just realized it's like, no, you do all the things, and whatever is offered to you, if it's a good opportunity, even if it's not your number one style, or if it's not you just say yes, you try it out, and I think that's one of the things that it wasn't really encouraged as a young artist. It was like, you kind of had to know what you wanted to be. And so in my mind, it was like, well, concert dance just makes sense because I've trained since I was 3, but now it's really like we were talking about with the triple threat, it's whatever is available, whatever cool project is coming up, you want to work with these people. So if they want you just for your acting skills, you say yes and you take that project. Or if they just want you for your dance, like we have multiple talents, all of us, right? Yeah. And so it's important to hone in on all of your talents and try new things, because it is all related, right? It all intersects at some point. So with Schmigadoon, it was cool because first things first, I saw who was choreographing it, and I fell over because he has a Tony. and he's an amazing man. And it's in one of my favorite musicals. It's Chris Gattelli, who choreographed Newsies on Broadway. And Newsies as a child was my favorite Disney musical. Like, it was so good.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So Kenny Ortega choreographed the film, and then Chris Gattelli choreographed the Broadway show. Wow. And I found out that Gattelli was choreographing this show. And I think I had heard originally that the show was supposed to shoot in New York.
Okay.
And then they moved it to Vancouver. And I don't know if that was because of the pandemic. I would imagine this had happened prior to, because they would have needed a lot of time to secure studio space and everything. But so it shot in Vancouver for 3 months.
I know we tried to connect. I'm so sorry we couldn't time, but yes, you were here having the best time with some of our fellow castmates, the Julio Fuentes, the Katrina Murphy from our In the Heights.
It was so much fun. So much fun. So
and Katrina Reynolds was in that too. So you ladies were killing it.
Yeah, we worked on Christmas Waltz the month prior, and then we both booked Schmigadoon, so we got to work together on that. But it was I mean, it was a blast. Also, we were in the middle of a pandemic, so we were testing every 3 days. We were, in rehearsals, and, you have the socially distance, and you're trying to rehearse in a mask, full out dance, and also sing. So much fun.
Yeah. But I auditioned for that, but I told me and everybody else auditioned for the mayor's the whole city. And then of course, but God bless. I mean, we'll see you on the next one. But my goodness. It's like one of those gigs where you're like, I wouldn't even be working. You're just going and having fun with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then they brought in some stars that I've never dreamt I would ever meet. Like Kristen Chenoweth comes in.
The Chennies.
And and she's just, oh my goodness. Like, you see her on TV and you're like, man, she has so much energy and she looks like such a positive person. And then you meet her and it's all of that and even more. Like, she came into our rehearsal. She had just stopped at Prada on the way, and she bought this bright pink puffer jacket. And the last season's Prada, they were like a combat boot with a platform that was probably 8 inches high. And she walks in, and she's only, I don't even know, 4 foot.
She's my thigh. She's my thigh.
Yeah.
Like a freaking dragon.
Oh my goodness.
Incredible.
Yeah, she walked into the room with her sunnies and her puffer and her and she just takes it all off. She's like, so what am I doing? And then he gives her the steps. He gives her the blocking in about 5 minutes. And this number, I swear to God, it's like a 19 or 20 page number, and she is saying every word. It's like a rap. If you were to do a rap in a traditional musical theater setting, that's what she's doing, like 19 or maybe it's 18 pages of speech.
Wow.
And so she nailed it. She got it in 5 minutes. Like, I can't comprehend
muscle
how
and it'd be like if you went to a salsa routine, you'd have it's in your body, right? Like that, that's professional. That's why people get paid the bucks,
right?
Because they're professionals, and they're not costing time and money to learn something on the day. It's done. I mean, but it's also inspiring to see and being like, Jesus Christ, the pressure.
Yeah.
It's not an easy career, and everyone sometimes does think it's fun and games, but it really, again, bring it back to work. I mean, wow, that's an amazing experience. So technically COVID kind of, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, you kind of fucking get COVID and it's out.
I mean, I'm so grateful. It's, having obviously like being a dual citizen was something, like with my mom being born here, it allowed for me to be able to work in both places. And I know so many of especially the theater community, like God bless, it was such a hard year last year, it was rough, and a lot of them still haven't worked. Right. And so it's, I just try and take it like, we all win when one of us gets something,
100%.
We gotta share it with everybody, because it's just,
I feel the same. People should be working. That's all we want is people should be working. I mean, but talk a little bit, because of course, as Julia is explaining, and as all my listeners, she's also a mother and a wife. Okay. So
yes, ma'am.
top of everything she's been doing. She's also raising her beautiful boy and having an amazing, partnership with her incredible husband. So what was that like? And I don't know if it's a combination of things, but you have the COVID and my friends who are mothers, look, it was not easy with the homeschooling and the kids, and they're not being able to play with friends and sometimes having anxiety and mental health, just in that sort of, positive, negative energy. It was not easy. And then of course to be away and be working to put, food on the table, that kind of stuff. And to also be having such an emotional year just in the world itself with everything. How did you manage to balance, motherhood, wife, professional artist? What was that a little bit like? How did your family make out, your son and your husband?
I mean, you do the best that you can in the situation that you're in. And with our son, we pulled him out of school even before they shut down. So he was pulled out early March of last year. He has asthma and I just didn't want to deal with, I just could not deal with him. So so we started homeschooling him right away. The school system here, I don't know if they did this in Canada, but they took away testing last year so that the kids, like, obviously, if they're not in that setting and administering a test, and it gets kind of murky. So it was more along like projects and homework and just class participation on Zoom. So we were able to navigate that from March until June. And then he finished the year and then he was off for the summer. And then they had announced in September that the kids would still be at home. And then October, they would go back in person, just depending on what the numbers look like. So Jalen did go back in October. And now I was already in Vancouver at the time because I left in July. I left in July because I did Christmas waltz. So I left. So for Jalen, like he's an only child, so he's very independent to begin with.
Right.
He just he was able to really focus on his schoolwork because he had zero distraction.
Right.
He did very well academically last year, but emotionally it was hard because, after I left, I'm like his emotional connection. Do you know what I mean? Like the nurturing, like Tyler is lovely. Tyler is lovely too, but it's different, So we would talk on the phone. We do FaceTime every day and just checking in, and he's got his dogs. And I think that's one thing that was a savior for the pandemic is we have 2 dogs.
Jesus. Yes.
Yeah.
Our fur babies. Lifesavers. Lifesavers.
They are, because you can just love on them so much. Right. And so I think, I can't imagine doing another pandemic without a pet because they're just for everyone's sake. I think it's so important. And it's funny because Jalen actually had allergies prior to us getting those dogs. And we were able to have you heard of those shots that you can get so that you can like build up antibodies and like you build up your body.
Make me skinny. I'll take
Oh my gosh.
I got a fucking Peloton. I'm done. Build it up.
Do not dare lose those curves. I will be so angry. Oh my gosh.
I never would. But yes, okay. So he's working on his asthma.
Yeah. So he was working on his asthma. So he got his body to the point where we could have pets. And so I think I'm just really thankful that, that like hooray for science because it actually saved him and it saved all of us really. Yeah. So he got his second vaccine 2 weeks ago. So he's fully vaccinated. So we sent him back to school a month and a half ago. So he just finished the year here in person. So you
can see his friends and have that interaction.
Exactly. But it is a unique experience for these kids, because obviously like we didn't have to deal with anything like that growing up. And I can't imagine being like, he's 15 now.
No, he's not. I can't. Is he really 15? I mean, I don't have a sense of time. And, even when I hear my goddaughter is graduating grade 7 this week, or sorry, not my goddaughter, my goddaughter's sister. And I'm like, she's graduating elementary school and going to high school next year. And then Shannon's like, Grace is going to be getting her learner soon. I'm like, come on. And they're always, I'm assuming as a mother, they're always your little baby, right? Like
totally.
He's 15. Oh my God, how tall he must be tall and just like handsome.
He's so handsome. I would bring him up here, but he wouldn't come up here if I told him to. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 5. He's almost 5'11".
Wow.
He wears a size 12 shoe.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
don't even know.
Right.
You know, he's playing basketball. He starts his rec league Thursday of this week, and then he'll be in basketball camp. And yeah, he's killing it. He's doing the thing.
So thankfully it was a positive experience in the sense of like you guys made it through, because I can only imagine, especially if you're now looking to move, and there must have just been a lot going on that you must be looking forward to the summer. And I think having some time off in between projects, unless of course you're already booked, because I looked on your Instagram and you had put a picture of your shoes and you're not at home. So it's like, but either way, it's the life.
Yes, it's a life. I mean, we're hoping, because obviously I don't think anyone's been able to go on vacation. So we're hoping to get a vacation in late July. Yeah. But I told Tyler, I was like, you know, we'll book a vacation, but we'll have to book insurance, because that's when I'll get something great. And then of course we won't be able to go. Yeah. But I mean, hopefully that happens. Like,
let's just hope it's with J-Lo, because she just signed a Netflix deal. Let me show you my J-Lo water.
Oh my gosh!
Thank you. Shut up.
My goodness.
Okay, this is J-Lo's designer. Thank you very much. I'm actually wants to do a podcast with me. J-Lo's crystal. So of course hers are thousands of dollars, but your made bling. I designed it. That's my logo. Bless, because hello.
Yes.
But
oh my goodness.
Let me take a sip of water.
Please. Yes.
I don't only just drink red wine in the day or rosé. But J-Lo just signed, you see on Netflix, she just signed a multi-deal, whatever. So here's my goal to you is just get in with the J. Okay. So that we can become best friends.
I do have a friend who danced for her in her residency. Amazing. Yeah. I'll call her and see. Maybe she can give you a call.
I do think she might be a great Daniela, but I mean, the Daphne, you can't beat the Daphne. She's
she did such a great
queen
job.
of Broadway. So God bless. But and J-Lo seems to be pretty busy with her. Ben. We love you.
Oh my goodness. Full circle.
So Julia, I mean, obviously I can't thank you enough for even connecting with me today and being my guest, because of course I have the best time. I have the best time just seeing friends and seeing each other's faces and hearing stories. And these really, you're an inspiration to so many, because, you work so hard. You come from a career that you said, you trained in one avenue and you parlayed that into multiple avenues, and you're raising your son and, married and flipping houses. It's a lot. But, you're doing it, and you're doing the best you can, like you said, living your best life. And it's just a pleasure to see you, a couple years later from when we last saw each other, excelling, leading and living a happy life, no matter what the world throws at you. You seem to have taken it and run with it. And that is quite inspiring.
Thanks, Irene.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So let me just ask you a couple little pepper questions as how I close out my episode. Okay. And then of course, before we sign off, I will press stop recording and we'll sign off. But let me just ask you a couple pepper questions. You can just say one word or 3 words or 5 minutes. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever you're feeling. Okay. So Julia, how has the experience of the pandemic changed you or your perspective in any way, or has it not at all?
Well, I mean, it's a very complicated question, because I think, it's taught, like, the easy answer is that it's taught me what's truly important. Why do we do what we do? And at the end of the day, it's really, we do what we do so we can support the people we love. And I think that with everything that went on, especially last year, that's opened up so much conversation. And it's obviously been necessary. And we've waited for a year like last year, even though everyone says it was just like a crap year, it really was an amazing situation because it's something that we waited for, things that people did not want to talk about and they were forced to talk about it. So for that, I am truly thankful because that, that was something that was able to like open people's eyes, the people who thought that certain things, we were over it, or things that maybe weren't important to them, but now they've realized, or maybe they've done a little bit of historical research and seen like, oh, I understand now why this person is not happy, or this person feels that they've been mistreated, because they have been mistreated. So because of all of that, I am so thankful, but it really did put into perspective, what I value, and I would give it all up for my family. So I think, like that's something. Before it was just like career, book as much as you can, train. But then you sit down, you have a second to like take a breath, and then you realize you're like, why am I doing why am I killing myself? What's the point? At the end of the day, who are you going to celebrate with? So that was something for me that it really put what I want into perspective, and that's just to be near my family. Amazing. So I
would say, you're the first person I'm asking that question to, because that's my season 2 summer series season opener. My favorite questions are just a little different from last year. You're the first person I've asked that, but I couldn't agree more. Just putting things into perspective. So thank you for that.
Of course. Yes.
Julia, who is a woman that inspires you, and why?
Oh, there's so many. I don't know. Okay. Well, I mean, so it depends. Like we would have to put it into categories really, in terms of like fashion. Like if we want to just jump to fashion, like women like Princess Diana, they've always inspired me just, in terms of just like not caring, but also the position that she was in, and then being so casual about the position she was in when everyone else was not. That's something that I absolutely love and adore. And I love that answer. Her just, she's been very instrumental in my fashion choices throughout my life. And then you have people like, if we want to get a little bit, more serious, women like Mother Teresa, who are just so selfless, and willing to commit everything to the cause of helping others. It's just like, you can't, that's just, So there's women like that. And then if we want to talk, industry, you've got these actresses, you've got the Meryl Streeps, of course, but there are a lot of other women who are breaking boundaries, and you can talk about Lupita, or you can talk about, there's so many now that it's more than just a looks game, which has been something for so long for women, not just women of color, just women in general. It's just like you age out, at a certain age, but now we're seeing these women who are stunning inside and out, but they are equally just as talented, right? And they can hold their own, and they can hold the scene. And so any woman who, can like hold a scene and tell a story, that's who inspires me. And then if we want to talk dance, well, I mean, you've got like Anne Rankin, she just passed, but like she, like she was, and she's really inspired, like for myself, like her and people like Sid Charisse, and just like the beauty and the strength, and like they can captivate an audience and the screen, and just technically their technique is just, we can't even, and so I'm always, very inspired by those women. And then you have people like, Chita Rivera and Rita Moreno, and like all those, like we can just all the queens, but they're all over
it's always nice to hear their names, and everybody has different women that inspire them, but God bless, because dance, theater, whatever, there's something, Princess Diana, even past or present Mother Teresa, they're still making a difference in your life, I'm sure.
Yes.
they'd be thrilled to know that too. Julia, what is something you do to keep a healthy mind and spirit? Even though I think I know the answer, I'm going to.
Well, I mean, we live in a beach community, so I try to be on or in the water as much as possible.
Amazing.
I find just salt air, and if and maybe it was being in Vancouver that did that to me, probably.
Yeah.
But there's something about just being able to just like breathe and inhale the salt, and be on the water. I like to paddleboard. I do yoga. I got my certification actually during the pandemic, so that was nice.
Good for you.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm going to use
throw
it.
another tool in your toolbox.
Right, why not? If anyone needs a yoga practice class, we can do that. But just like I said, knowing what is important, it helps to put things into perspective. And then when you have things in perspective, you're going to actually take care of yourself a lot better because like if I take care of myself, then I'm able to help others and be a minister to others and, help to inspire others. So I think, just that's it. And just trying to stay as positive as possible in an environment, especially right now that it's hard to stay positive because the outlook always just seems so grim. Yeah. But I think right now we're and
breathing, like it's the little things that can actually do a lot, right? And
yes, ma'am.
That's you taking care of you and knowing. I thought maybe you were going to say salsa dancing with your husband.
Oh my God.
I don't know if he could keep up with you. I don't know.
He cannot. Bless his soul. He cannot dance.
I wonder if she's like Jane Fonda, who would dance every night with her partner. I remember seeing an interview with her, and she would that would be what she would do. They would dance at night.
Oh my goodness. But bless Tyler. He cannot.
No,
but he tries. He does try. I'm going to give him that. Like we have wedding videos of him just going off on the floor, and I cherish that. So yes.
So since I just thought what may be a fun little question is to ask you if you have a favorite local hotspot or small business. Tell me a little.
Yes. So I'm in Milford, Connecticut. You'll have to look it up on a map, but we're pretty close to New Haven, and New Haven is where Yale University is.
Yes.
Here in Milford, it's an interesting community. Everyone has their own little pockets, but I did find a cute little coffee, natural food shop called the Bee's Knees. It's really adorable. It's like this big, and you go in and you can order it has a huge menu, but it's close to the beach, and it's called the Bee's Knees. That's in Milford, Connecticut. And also Cafe Atlantic is another cute little coffee shop next to the train. Cafe Atlantic, the Bee's Knees. I highly recommend if anyone is going through Milford to get to New Haven or, whatever, and they want to get a coffee or a natural food bar or something organic.
See,
you got to go there.
I never would have heard that or known about that. You never know. Maybe one of my listeners, and now they're going to get overflowed, and you just jacked up their business.
Yes.
Well, that's how you get all these little holes in the wall.
It's true. Yes, it's really true.
I can't thank you enough. I mean, honestly, it was so great to see you and hear your stories. And for any of my listeners, Julia can be seen on Instagram. Can I plug your Julia Harnett?
Please do.
Okay. So we don't mind plugging ourselves, but not only is Julia an amazing artist and actress and singer and dancer and all that, but she also takes the most beautiful photos. She's also a photographer by passion, but you can look at her Instagram, Julia Harnett, Harnett. And you'll get a chance to see all these colorful, beautiful floral photos of her on location, wall art from local artists in New York, I think, because, some of the artists and anyways, and beautiful photos of obviously her. As well. But it's, I don't know, I look at it and I always feel good after because it's so pretty and vibrant and just like you. So
thank you.
I mean, thank you so much. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you. Yay! Benny!
Cheers! Cheers! Yay! That's a wrap, guys. Thank you so
so much for listening. I hope you had as much fun as I did. And remember, if you enjoyed some rosé along with me, make sure you don't drink and drive. You can find me at www.irenecaris.com/podcast. You can follow me on my Facebook public page and Twitter at Irene Caris, or on my Instagram at Irene Caris Loper. Thanks to my amazing husband for giving me my married name, aka Ilo. The Ilo on Location podcast is hosted, produced, and edited by me. God bless. Special thanks to my gorgeous nephew Connor, aka C-Buddy on iTunes, for the original music. And thank you to my puppy Charlotte for being my most loyal listener and adding her 2 cents barking in the background. Join me again next time as I gab away with another one of my fabulous friends.